All right, everyone, welcome to the Season 7 drafts. Once I get us up there we are. That time of year again where I spend 3 hours on my computer reading off names.
It's so fun.
I know Jara's not here. So they have the first overall pick, which is the funny part. I believe Mart is drafting for...
Mark said they can't hear me.
They can't hear you. Well, I don't know why that's the case because you're not supposed to hear on screen share. Anyway.
It doesn't matter. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the... Just go to the YouTube. Okay, whatever. Keep going.
Anyway, it's time for the draft. I hope everyone is here. And if you're not my problem. I've told this date about 17 times when you were having this. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and put Virginia State on the clock for season 7. Let's go to Marts.
You know what I'm excited for this year? I don't think it'll take as long as it usually does.
It should not take very long.
We're only drafting names. There's no 83 guaranteed, so you're only drafting names. It shouldn't take that long. Go to a position you need and pick a name.
Okay, Par. So here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna do the status thing on the recruiting, and I'll put in the names on the draft pick slide. We got a system this year. We can write them down.
Last year was jumbled, dude. I was going in back and forth in between. I was losing it. Had me sweating during the draft.
I take that back. Let's flip this because I got to read off the names. You type in the names, and I'll do the thing. Okay.
While we wait, Gerald, who was your best pick from last year? Do you have a pick from last year planned for your team?
Don't even remember who I drafted last year.
Fantastic.
So
never mind, you're useless.
I am useless, but you know who's not useless? Mark, because the pick's in.
Thank you, Mark.
So, since I fixed it this year, I can control it. With the first pick in the Season 7 RFCL drafts, Virginia State selects Alex Mock, the only athlete in the draft class. And just for those that want to know, I asked the people that made the recruits because, believe it or not, I did not make them this year. Someone else did. I have no idea what positions they are. No idea. So,
why would you draft that guy?
Figure it out whenever I drop the recruits. The rumor is it's a wide receiver corner. Do not quote me on that. First pick, Alex Mock, goes to Virginia State.
Throw out this to Virginia State. I would let you know the first ever pick was the same athlete, and he's my 5th receiver and 6th corner. He sucks.
Yeah. Okay.
Very terrible. Horrible.
I need to write these down, just so we know for sure who we are. That puts Baldwin Wallace on the clock. 1-6 this season. New coaching staff, maybe expected a little drop off, but Viking looking to rebuild his draft class through here.
They played well against us last game. I mean, they had us 17-16 in the first half, and then it all fell apart. That running game's actually really good. They just got to figure out their quarterback.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. Now I got to figure out. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those learning curves. I mean, if you remember Penn from last year, they struggled. This year, they are technically fighting for a playoff spot. So, and for all people have said bad about Penn, just remember, if it wasn't for an onside kick, they would be 4-3 with a win over number 1. So. We have the second selection. Let me go confirm the position before I say some random name. All right. With the second pick, because the pick is in. Second pick in the Season 7 draft, Baldwin Wallace selects one of the Heralds, Perry Farrell, offensive tackle, goes number 2. Baldwin Wallace gets an offensive lineman, maybe looking to upgrade their, maybe get some push up front. They've had a lot of problems trying to run the football this year. Maybe looking to improve that going into next season. With that brings up Mr. Pars himself. If I can figure out which button to press. That's not the right one. We got to reset the clock.
Perry Farrell is just stuck.
He is still there. Listen. You got to remember, this is me running things, guys. This is me. It's not going to go well. But yeah, Pars is on the clock, so we'll let him go do what he does. He already sent me the pick. Well, we're gonna Pars, why don't you talk us through what you're thinking here for this pick?
About 12 seniors leave us this year, but none of them are starting except for one on defense and about one on offense. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that one starting guy. Hopefully get him in here. I'm hoping he's a high prospect for me.
Yeah, we probably should have mentioned that. This is a new draft this year. It's not the same as years past. We're just flying through these already.
This 4 already sent you theirs?
No. I meant who you... Never mind, you'll see here in a minute.
Oh, no, I know what you meant. Yeah.
This is a little different because we don't know overalls. We don't know... We're basically drafting names, and then at a later date, probably this week, I'll spin in a wheel, and you'll figure out the attributes then. It's like a real draft. You never know what you're going to get when you're drafting a player. It could be a gem, could be a bust. You'll figure it out, but UConn's pick is in. And with the third pick in the Season 7 draft, UConn selects Zary strong safety. So 2 Heralds already off the board. But UConn...
I wanted to see how you pronounce his name. No, I know.
Goes defensive. Pars, I'm probably not the best person to judge for pronouncing names, but that brings up Space Force and potentially a new head coach for next season for Space Force. Barack did announce his retirement, so this will be for someone else to decide. Once I find Pars's, there they are, Pars's teams. You'll see why later. I said that. Got to upgrade the graphics. But Space Force. I
have some new information on the athlete.
Hello, Wad.
There we go.
For those that want to know who made the players, you're talking to him right now. So, Wad, go ahead.
So it looks like he is a dual position player, obviously, because that's what an athlete is. But the positions are not wide receiver and corner like they typically are. It's going to be corner and I believe running back.
Pars, did Brock send you the name too?
No, he only sent it to you, and I can't wait. All right, we heard here first. A corner/running back went first.
So this is all I'm gonna say. Brock did not type this correctly to me, but you can just imagine what was typed in my DMs. Pick is in for Space Force, and with the 4th pick, Space Force selects Gary Harold, an offensive guard. Now, if you picture a word that starts with a Q and put it at the first, that's what was typed in my DMs.
That sounds about right.
That's all I'm going to say. That's the 4th pick in the draft. As we move to Penn. Penn, a very interesting team this year. have been competitive in games, have made some interesting decisions late game, and it cost them some games. But nonetheless, very much improved from last season where, let's just say it was a disaster. An absolute disaster last season, and they turned it around. So we'll see who they begin their draft with here.
I tell you what, it's a dysfunctional coaching staff, but it's a dang good team. All right, you take a look at the team; they're competing. They almost beat the number 1 team. If you get a functioning coaching staff in there, shout out to T-Man. Do your best. You guys are undefeated. Also, which pick is this? 5? Cool.
It is 5.
I already forgot to do my job.
No, you're good. You're good.
I already forgot to type and do my own job.
Where? Oh, it's over here. Yeah,
I really wish Alex Malk didn't go first, and we just had Heralds all throughout the first round. Just the whole first round. Hopefully, T-Man thinks long and hard about this. There's a lot of spots on this team that need to be fixed.
Guys, there are other players you could draft. There are other players available. Okay.
You better be strapped in, baby. The next 4 are going to be Heralds.
Well, you're not wrong, Bars. Oh, man, I messed this up. Okay. Because with the 5th pick in the Season 7 draft, Penn selects wide receiver Kerry Carroll, adding some explosiveness to their wide receiver core. Guys, there are other players on the board besides Heralds, okay? Am I up? Oh, bang, it's me. All right. I've got to.
I'm going to play that back when you say add explosiveness when the wheel spin happens and he's like an 80 speed receiver. I'm just going to die.
All right. Well, got to think about this. Where I want to go.
To answer your questions, 1, you will know them whenever Caleb gets around to it, probably this week. 2, there will be no shenanigans because the wheel spins will be live streamed. 3, I don't know why at this point why you're even questioning Caleb.
Yeah, the wheel spins will be streamed except for mine. Just kidding.
Never mind, questionable.
Okay, I've already got my pick, so we can go ahead and do this. With the 6th pick in the RFCL draft, UCO selects Very Merrill, defensive tackle on the board. I've got to add some of my own to this draft. I've got to do it.
Very Herald. I'm not going to lie, each iteration of these Heralds are getting harder to spell for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though they're all spelling
Wad, you should not do that, okay? You should not do that. Only Wad will not. No, I think you shouldn't. I think we shouldn't be doing that, but that's okay. Furman is currently on the clock, and guys, stop it.
Tell me it's another Herald.
Stop it. Guys, I think last year we stopped at Heralds at around like J. We went through the rest of the alphabet. That's how many Heralds there are. So there's a lot. There's still a lot left. Well, but maybe not anymore because you guys won't stop picking them. Okay. That being said, pick is it for Furman. That was, quick, easy. With the 7th pick in the Season 7 draft, Furman, defending national champion, select Mary Merrill, wide receiver. Guys, there are other names on the board.
We'll get to them.
I get it. You want me. I get it. Spread the love around. All right.
He's insane. I kind of want to take back what I just DM'd you.
Yeah, what did you DM me?
The next pick.
Listen, all right. Listen. Pars told me he was going to do this before the draft. Like, it was like, I'm going to do this. And he was not lying, guys. He was not lying. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead. Do this. Okay. With the 8th pick in the season 7 draft, because UConn is already back up. UConn selects the other Zary Zeldin in the draft, cornerback. Guys, that's like 7 arrows in a row. So actually, we're gonna pick 7 arrows in a row. 7.
The only thing I care about is that Zary Zerold and Zary Zerold sound exactly the same.
Listen,
so X and Z are on my team.
Pars does not have a great track record with arrows because he drafted one or just one committed, and he left the next year. So just remember that. Just remember that.
No, I have two.
Okay.
One left me the next year, and one was a total draft bust, the first overall pick that never played a snap for me and never will.
Okay, Currency is now up, and I'll be honest, I have not heard.
That won't be an arrow.
I haven't heard from him at all. Is Currency active?
He's upset with us over this whole thing.
He's not even online. He did respond to my message, right? He is left. Okay, he is. Okay. He sent in his pick. Don't worry, guys. The welfare checking Currency called off. He's here. He's here.
He definitely didn't take an arrow. He is not part of this.
He did not take an arrow.
Yeah, he's not part of this. It's over. It's over. We got through 7 picks of arrows.
All right. With the 9th pick in the first round of Season 7, Northwest Missouri State selects my dog Chuck, tight ends. So, currently going for a tight end pick, which does fit their scheme. They love to run the football, love to have a couple of rollout passes, so a tight end fits perfectly with what Northwest Missouri State wants to do. I think that puts Furman back up, and I did not have time to change their next 3. So it says pick 7, but don't worry about it. This is pick 10, and we're already in. This might get to the point where we're just putting names up and not worrying about, the rest of it. So
as soon as you get through the first round, that's fine.
Yeah.
Old man Chuck picked my dog Chuck. That's insane.
All right, Furman's pick is in. And with the 10th pick in the first rounds, Furman selects Quentin Hernandez, a strong safety. It's another strong safety off the board for and he goes to Furman. So obviously the Paladins, looking to beef up their defense. I don't know what part is when he's probably laughing at me.
Paladins.
All right, App State's on the clock for the first time tonight, and we're flying through this, guys. Absolutely flying through this. This is an elite name. This will be an elite name on the broadcast. I'm just gonna call it right now. This will be an electric call when it happens. But with the 11th pick in the first rounds, App State selects secondhand smoke, wide receiver, going to the Mountaineers. That'll be it was going to be elite if that gets called on the broadcast.
He'll be taking the jet sweeps.
Yeah, he probably will. All right, rounding out the top 12 first round, Central Arkansas on the clock for the first time tonight. So we'll see who they go with. I believe I just got sent that, but I'll be disabling some things here real quick.
Yeah, I expected some sort of trading the moment we got into the draft. Maybe it'll happen in the 3rd round, but 2 trades this year is kind of wild, and we're just not seeing them a lot.
Yeah, I think people are realizing that you could try to trade, but then if you don't do it correctly, next year might be rough. But Bucky has sent in his pick. Okay, okay. All right. Pick is in. With the final pick in the first round, Central Arkansas selects at number 12, Jim Barry, defensive ends, to round out the first round of picks. And that puts, I think, Space Force on the clock for 2 straight picks. So maybe we can get a little rapid fire from Barack here. Huh?
Barack, hit us with 2.
Yeah, a little 2 straight picks for Barack would be nice here. Potentially.
I am shocked that we didn't see Bucky pick Bucky McBuckster II in the first round.
Yeah, I am also shocked by that. We'll see.
Sorry, I'm trying to now plan out my stuff.
No, you're good. Barack is on the clock again.
He only said you won.
No, you're good. What in the hell? We have the first pick. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right. With the 13th pick in the Season 7 draft, Space Force selects Thomas Baber, offensive tackle for Space Force.
I'm going to need to see how to spell that. Okay.
Yeah, and we already got the second pick, so we're just going to fill this in when it, we'll just, With the 14th pick, Space Force selects. I got to make sure this name is correct. All right, it is. James Lima, middle linebacker, had to, what the hell? I just got a very interesting DM from the one and only T-Man. I don't know if this should be public knowledge, but all I'm going to say is there's fire involved. So.
Make it known. If he sent it to you, C-Man, send it to me if you want to make it known.
I don't know why he sent me that. They don't have a pick to 22. So, Nismo's up for the first time. And Valdosta State. Probably should get rid of something real quick. There we go. All right. Valdosta State is up for the first time. See how Old Pars is doing, filling in the draft picks. Doing just fine over there.
Oh, you questioned it. How dare you?
Lord.
It's our third time doing this.
This is, all I'm going to say is very ironic that Nismo chose this player. All I'm going to say. But, do this.
Quick, everybody, guess what it is before it says. If it's very ironic that Nismo picked it, it's probably racist.
With the 15th pick in the RFCL draft, Valdosta State selected. Got to be very careful how I pronounce his name. Nary Narrold, tight end, going to Valdosta State.
He who knows that he'll never have to say the name.
Yeah, Nismo drafted that for one and only reason. One and only.
Didn't even need a tight end. Just.
All right, Central Arkansas. Oh my God, Central Arkansas is up, and they've already made a pick, so we're going to go ahead and.
Here we go.
Central Arkansas selects at number 16, Brock Aguilar, offensive guard, heading to the Bears. And we are on pick 17, back to Baldwin Wallace. We go.
Tell me why I heard Brock and I typed out Barack before I looked at it.
Oh, I'm surprised it took this long to draft this position. But with the 17th pick in the second round of Season 7, Baldwin Wallace selects Pillsbury Throwboy, quarterback, first quarterback off the board in the draft class. Maybe too risky now to try to set up your quarterback in the draft. Now you do not know the potential players. But that brings us back up to Virginia State.
I'm just going to say, can he pass is the greatest thing ever. Okay, can he pass and I'm an overthrow are on the nose for quarterbacks.
Where did Mark go? There he is. You are on the clock. Okay.
Oh my God, his kitchen was on fire.
Yeah. That's. I was not laughing on his kitchen on fire. I was laughing at who Mark just picked, and that sounded really bad.
Guy's teammate's kitchen caught on fire. This is not a drill.
I got reports that it was not that bad, so it's okay. It's okay, guys.
Momentarily, but a fire is still a fire.
It was not that bad. All right, with the 18th pick in the Season 7 draft, Virginia State selects Sari Serald, defensive end, another Herald off the board. There are still plenty.
All right, now you're just begging. No, nobody picked him. Now he just really wants one to go.
Listen, I've already got plenty of my players in the draft. I don't need very much else. That brings Northwest Missouri State back on the clock. We'll see who Kernsey selects, and then that brings up a team that has not picked yet in the number 1 team or previous number 1. Haven't released the rankings for this week yet.
Jesus.
Was that Wad? I swear to God.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's Wad.
I can't play. Guys, I can't do the other one. I really want to, but I can't play the other.
You got to. I mean, he picked him. He picked him.
I can play mine. Let's just do mine. Let's take this back to the first year of expansion, Northwestern State Space Force. There was a moment where I think people thought I died. And this was the noise that was made in my dorm room. Oh shit. If you don't remember that, that's when I don't even know what happened. It was just perfect. Perfect everything.
That makes me wish there was noise on all rage moments. Like Blake throwing his headset on the ground and stomping off, I wish was noise. I wish me punching my desk was noise.
All right. Pick is in with the 19th pick in the Season 7 draft. Northwest Missouri State selects Featured Biatch, wide receiver, heading to Northwest Missouri State. And I already got Watt's pick for
Oh, I forgot they showed up tonight. Been about 2 drafts since this team's been here.
Yeah, just for Wad blames Martin for all this. He won't come out and say it. He blames Martin for not. Listen, I'm just here to spread rumors, guys. Anyway, Watt's pick is in, and with the 20th pick, I believe is what we're at. Yep, that is correct. Northeastern State selects Beckman Horder, wide receiver. So second straight year that a wide receiver heads to, well, last year it wasn't Northeastern State, but same team. Another pick by Wad and another wide receiver. That brings us to pick 21. I think this is where we get back-to-back pin picks here. So let's hope T-Man can just send them in send 2 picks in right now, and we can almost get through round 2. App State and Furman round off the last 2. I got App State's pick. So as long as it doesn't happen. for Penn to send their pick. But
what are we doing, dude? I sent you my pick just so we could sit around here and wait. Man, there's some spots flying right now.
yeah, there are.
Like, it's really making me think about my next spot. But I'm ready to go. I don't make it till the third round. Why am I even worried?
All right. I've got both picks, so we're going to go ahead and put this here.
Team, I appreciate you coming through for us in the clutch.
So now I got to
You
figure
put
out.
out that house fire, then came on here.
Let's see. That's.
People are valuing our time this year, Caleb. I remember sitting here for like 10 minutes per pick last year.
Let's see. Oh, we got another one of these people.
That's an Herald. That's it.
This may not fit. Oh, I think we barely got it on. Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. 2 picks here for Penn. Wad, what are the? You have to be more specific. Oh. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. This is what I meant by that. This is what I meant. Okay. With the 21st and 22nd pick, Penn selects August Mize, an offensive tackle, and then another quarterback. That's what I meant, guys. Downtown funky stuff. Heading to Penn. No, he can't get out of the soundboard one. Although now that I said it in the stream, it's going to be one tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, man. There goes my life. All right, I got App State's pick.
I mean, we are kind of flying through this.
What? Stop talking. Or texting me. All right, I got App's pick.
I'm
I'm
crying.
going to have to slow down when I say this one. Come on. With the 23rd pick in the second rounds, App State selects Mo Seaman, wide receiver. So two wide receivers for App State in this one.
Right.
But Wad is distracting me, guys. Wad is distracting me. That's why I'm laughing. It's all his fault. If you want to know how UCO VCs were, this is exactly how it was for most of the game. We were completely unserious. I don't know how the hell to pronounce this one. We're just going to put it on the screen. I'm not saying a word.
Put it on the screen. I'll attempt it.
All right, Pars. I don't think you... All right. Listen, if Pars does not attempt it, we're going to ban him. Okay?
What? No, wait.
With the 24th pick in the second rounds, Furman selects... There you go, Pars.
The Dinklage Margoni.
All right. Wide receiver heading to Furman. And that's the last pick in the third round or second round. And we are on.
I definitely did not spell that right.
We are on round 3. And we are back to Central Arkansas. Let's see what Mr. Bucky McBuckster has.
For all those viewers with ADHD that can't pay attention because it's just the two of us sitting here.
This won't even fit in the. This won't even fit. Okay. This is not fitting in the.
Is it a receiver?
In the game, by the way. I'm just
I
putting.
know who it is. It's a receiver.
All right. With the first pick in the third round, Central Arkansas selects Swervethin Lagooting Splats, wide receiver.
Yep, good.
Heading to Central Arkansas.
Damn you, Bucky. That was my next pick.
That brings up Mr. Pars himself in round 3.
Hold on. I'm trying to make this fit on the screen. I have to make it smaller than the other names. Okay. Uh,
I'll kill you.
You're welcome, Juan. What? You're gonna be back in time, I think. Oh shit! That was not me. That was not me. That was not me. Okay. While Parsons picking, let's look at the last week of the season. Big matchups in the North Atlantic Division. As I said in my announcements, it's basically a 14 playoff for the division title. App State, Northeastern State play, and UConn, Virginia State play. Winners from both those games will meet in the division championship, and obviously the winner of that wins the title. This, I don't think we've ever had something like this before. And it's not like one division is more stacked than the other, because if you look at records-wise, they're similar, only that my division of the Intercontinental has 2 1-6 teams. It's just the fact that they've all beat up on each other in the other division that all have 1 or 2 losses. So, I do have Parsons' pick. I have to verify something real quick. Okay. All right. With the 25th pick in the Season 7 draft, UConn selects I don't know what that was, guys. Canes Hing, wide receiver. Pars seems very upset with something.
it's NFL. It doesn't matter. I just got pinged that we're bringing back the head coach and GM.
All right. Well, guys, Pars his culture not doing well. But you know what? He can fight for a division title this week. Anyway, Space Force is back up, and guess what? They've got 2 picks again. So
Take the last receiver on the board. Absolutely just had to.
you did. So, which is absurd that we are, 25 picks in, and all 9 receivers are gone.
Yeah.
But not one running back is off the board.
Oh, I almost did that, but that was boring. That's boring. Look at this. I just went into Discord. John said if anybody's worried they won't pick a receiver, the 29th pick is open. I just picked him at 26. Kid.
Yeah, wait for the Rock. He's got 2 picks here. For in round 3, pick 25 and 6. No, 26, 27 and 28. That is not the name. Not the name.
He's a spelling issue, apparently. That's the
No,
name.
he's got a different issue. You'll see the name and you can guess the word. Very similar to his first one. Anyway, 2 picks here for Space Force.
Guys, I actually hurt my knee slamming the thing on it.
All right, with the 27th and 28th pick, Space Force selects. I cannot say that on stream. It's not the name. It's Oriole Harold and Gene Guyton. It's not Oral Harold. It is not Oral.
No, it's Oral. It's
no,
Oral
it's not. No, it's not.
Oral
Fine.
Harold.
You know what? We'll ruin it. Where is he? We'll do it for the memes because I announced it like that. Oral Harold is alive. There is your picks. Oh,
I love that.
Let's see. 3rd round pick, Gene Guyton.
No, the first offense outside linebacker goes. I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did. Yeah, not a running back yet. Not an outside linebacker yet. You no love for O-line?
I know. All right. Pick 29 heads to Furman. And as Parr said, he did take the last wide receiver, which apparently is what John wanted. in this. We'll see where Furman heads with this pick. All right. With the 29th pick, Furman selects James Lee, tight ends, heading
Good for them.
to Furman. So another tight end off the board. That's actually 4 of the 5. So if you need a tight end, there's only 1 left. So remember that for those that are looking for positions of needs. Who is after Furman? Virginia State and Perfect. Mart has sent in his pick. And this marks the first position taken from, or first player. Fuck you, Brock. Brock just said that he lives rent free in my head. Anyway, pick. Yes, Pars. No, Pars. Take the first guy and get rid of the Y. That's what he sent me. Anyway, pick 30 is Mike's Oxbrown, halfback, heading to Virginia State. Yeah. Yep. All right. Pick 31 is actually Pars. So we can...
Can I get it now? You know what? Just a quick shout out to...
Oh, someone's going to be mad. All right. Pick 31 is in. And with the 31st pick, UConn selects Bucky McBuckster the second, another halfback off the board, heading to the Huskies this time.
He's going to be a great RB3 for his career.
Probably going to make Mr. Bucky himself. Man, that brings Baldwin Wallace back up.
Shout out Buck. He's going to be an awesome RB3.
And, yeah, we'll see who Baldwin Wallace brings up here. Could play spoiler this week to a team still vying for playoffs. Penn is in
Who do they play?
They play Penn. So,
Good matchup.
We'll see. Can Penn turn what was all you can say is disaster class last season into a potential 500 season? Even though this year has also been a disaster class sometimes for that team. Anyway,
just for a whole different reason.
Anyway, with the 30-something pick, 30 seconds, Baldwin Wallace selects Kyle Hawkins, cornerback, heading to Baldwin Wallace. So, defensive get here for the Yellow Jackets.
We're not seeing as many corners fly off the board as I thought. I mean, I picked a safety and corner first, thinking they would fly by the 3rd round, and that's the 2nd corner.
All right.
Just not seeing it.
With the 33rd pick in this draft, Central Arkansas, even though I didn't put their thing up, there we go, selects Jimmy Hicks, strong safety. So another defensive grab here in the 3rd rounds. That's where Central Arkansas takes their pick. All right, pick 34 is back to Furman. They made a lot of trades. And let me just say, I specifically named this player. Had to bring it back. And I hope it brings controversy as well with what someone can do in the Discord. All right, pick 34. The defending national champions select Mason Taylor IV, middle linebacker. I don't even know if Mason knows I put his name in this, but he's back. And he is drafted and will be appearing on rosters next season. That should probably remind you, not everyone's getting drafted tonight. There are 100 players available and only 72 picks. So not everyone's going to get drafted. Mason Taylor IV does. Yes.
Can we make him the shortest you can make a person as a middle linebacker?
I think that's only fair. Maybe just an inch taller than Mason Taylor III. Maybe just an inch taller.
5'5"?
Yeah.
5'5". Yes!
We'll see. I
think it's fair. I think it should happen. Who drafted him?
Furman.
John, I need you to say yes to this in Discord right now. At me and say yes, we can do that.
All right. While we are still on picks, Northwest Missouri State's pick is in, and they are hitting another similar position with the 35th pick. Northwest Missouri State selects Chris Baldwin, another tight end, heading to Northwest Missouri State. That's their second one of the draft, so potentially a big need, but that means there's no tight ends left because Currency's got both of them. 2 of the 5, I mean. All right.
Running through like skill position players.
We are, and this brings us to the final pick of the third round, which is by App State. We'll see who the Mountaineers select. Always so fun when I go on my friends list and see people typing. And then they have their pick in just waiting. We'll see.
I only have 2 picks left. Holy crap, this thing's flying.
I have 3 picks. And this makes late round picks exciting because you could find a hidden gem in the 6th round, theoretically. You just never know. So, I know where I want to hit some positions here. But, yeah.
Man, again, I mean, we're on round 4 and there hasn't been a single trade.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that, kind of, but...
Well, like, you think people would trade for the last receiver, or I guess nobody wanted the last tight end, or nobody's keeping track.
All right, with the final pick of the third round, the Mountaineers of App State select... Sorry, Martin sent me something. Gary Holloway, offensive tackle, heading to the Mountaineers, which wraps up round 3, and we enter the latter half of the picks. And since we changed up the style, I'm going to leave 3-minute clocks because you guys have actually been doing really well getting these in. So it hasn't really mattered, but Baldwin Wallace is back up just because there's 100 players to choose from. A lot to cycle through here. Hopefully, I've done a good job of tallying them so you guys know who's available. All right. Martin, I don't think I can fulfill your request. There's a good point, Pars, but there's also a certain sporting event I would like to watch.
Oh, what? Okay.
Just throwing it out there. Lord have mercy. There we go. All right. First pick of round 4 is by Baldwin Wallace, and they have selected Adefalo Dupree, a center, another get on the offensive line for Bucky. If you change a name, I'm banning you from anything on the sheet. Is
he doing that?
I see you typing.
Go ahead and take away permission. He can't be doing that during the draft. He didn't even come up with the names.
Yeah, now you went away. It said you were messing with the cell, so that's all I'm going to put out there. But that is pick 37, which brings back up. I said it wrong?
They're hitting you with Adefalo Dupree is what you said.
Adolfo. Guys. When you gonna learn that I'm retarded?
What are you copying and pasting into, Buck?
That's gonna be a new soundboard. That when you can learn I'm retarded, it's gonna be a new soundboard.
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good.
All right, that brings Mart back up. Let me go find his DMs. He is typing. Perfect. Oh, I get to pick this round. We're back.
Mm.
Martin, that's not very nice. All right. With the 38th pick in the draft, Virginia State selects Terrell Schultz, offensive tackle, heading to the Trojans. We have another one off the board, guys. Another one is coming off the board. Wait. Didn't this one already get picked?
Talk to me.
Yeah, John, that one's already taken off. So I forgot to mark it, or you're stupid.
Who was it?
I'm just an idiot. Oh, I marked the wrong one. That's on me. That's on me, but I picked the wrong one, John. If you want the other one, that's on me. I marked the wrong one. Yeah, okay. That's what I figured. That one's on me.
Little bit of draft drama for the viewer.
All right. John tried to submit very veiled. I'm an idiot. I put it on the wrong guy. But it doesn't matter because he took the other one with the 39th pick. Furman selects Wary World, defensive tackle, heading to Furman. Let me make sure I actually marked the right one. I did. All right.
I feel that's an easy
I've got
miss.
a lot of DMs. I got to sort through this. Space Force is up. So that's one of them. Thank you, Barack. I need your draft pick, though, instead of calling me retarded. I will not be doing that, T-Man. That's not... Okay. Thanks, Martin. All right. Now I got to see who I would like to take here.
I came into this just like shooting from the hip and having fun, and now I'm actually trying to think about my team.
I know.
It
I think this format there might be small tweaks, but this will make you actually got to think of what you need instead of so.
Instead of just drafting my overall, be like, this guy's an 83. I can play him at this spot. Like, just no.
Elite name once again. Oh, I didn't put up this. That's on me, guys. Whoops. All right, pick is in. With the 40th pick in the Season 7 draft, Space Force selects Budweiser, halfback, heading to the Delta Dogs.
It only makes sense they go to Space Force because they're going to be drinking a lot of them this year.
I'm surprised another name that is similar to that has not been.
Oh yeah, I saw.
It has not come off the board yet. Now, Viking did send me his. I think that's still available. It is. All right.
What do I do?
All right. Baldwin Wallace already sent another pick because gave me the classic if still available, which is perfect.
Nice.
With the 41st pick in the draft, Baldwin Wallace selects Mark Stonks, but I put Stonks, and that's what we're changing the name to. Mark Stonks, baby. Mark Stonks is. Oh, that's why. It's because Viking type Stonks, guys. Stop changing the names and making me think that's what I put. Okay, it's not nice, not nice. But you know what is nice is I'm back up. All right. I know exactly.
Hi, Gage.
Gage in here?
Yeah.
Hello, Gage.
Hello, Wad.
Anyway, hello, Wad.
Y'all did not make it as far as I thought you would.
Well, it takes
I
forever.
feel like this is pretty far. Last year, we'd be still in the second round.
All right. With the 42nd pick in the draft, UCO selects Harry Hall, offensive guard, heading to Central Oklahoma. All right, pick 43.
Great pick. That was an excellent pick there by UCO.
Not biased at all, coming from the offensive coordinator.
This one knows everything that's going on right now.
Nismo is back up. Is Nismo alive? We shall see. What does Brock want? Pars, Brock wanted me to tell you that Bud is gross.
I was thinking it's piss water. My bad. Probably can't say that. But it's
Listen. There's been worse said in our streams. Ironically, by the person making this pick right now.
Very true. Very true.
So,
If only there was a way to relive the moment.
Oh no!
I will not condone this action.
I think you gotta do it. You gotta do it. He picked the other guy. You just gotta do it.
Oh shit. All right.
You said it for so long.
With the 43rd pick in the draft, Valdosta State selects Fred Wright, offensive or outside linebacker. Nismo is being Nismo, my DMs.
So an annoyance.
No,
to
yes,
society.
annoyance. That's what we call it. Sending me random things. Just know that Nismo's 0-3 this week with Georgia losing an RFCL and the Falcons not making the playoffs. There you go.
Dude, I don't want to hear anything about any of that.
Well, you know what parts you do want to hear is you're back on the clock.
I actually don't want to hear that. Okay, hold on.
Bucky, you don't have a pick, so pick 48, but that's okay. Send me in picks.
Oh, I gotta do it.
Sorry, Nismo just saw what I said and sent me a hatred message.
Niz, I'd chill. We kind of have a little Never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say as I was making my pick.
Bucky, you didn't have to delete it. I was just saying. All right. UConn pick is in with the 45th pick. Connecticut selects David Stifler, middle linebacker, heading to the Huskies.
Shout out Steve Stifler.
That brings up Penn, and I already know their pick because T-Man sent his ahead of time. Problem is, I'm not quite sure how we say this name.
Fantastic. Love to hear that from you. You want me to try it again?
Even better, it's one of me's.
No.
Penn is back up, and their pick is in with the 45th pick in the draft. Penn selects Yuri Yerold. Yuri.
It's Yuri.
All right, Yuri Yerold. Off the board. I don't know how many Heralds are even left, guys. I'm not sure if there's even any.
Guys, what we should have did is we should have made sure that all the Heralds were the people not picked at the end of the draft. All the 28s were just Heralds.
That's not nice.
That's what we should have did.
Oh, well, I know one's still available because a certain team has sent in their pick early hoping they're still available.
Are they?
And it's actually the pick after this one, after Currency. Pick 47, but pick 46 is up. And it's by Northwest Missouri State. 2 tight ends taken so far for the Bearcats. I went on the draft picks page. Picks 2 through 8 being aerial is so funny.
It's awesome. It's so good. I'm shocked by some of these, like what's
Whoa.
not been taken.
This is actually, I didn't know if we were going to see this position drafted tonight.
Fullback.
With the 47th pick, I believe, 46th pick in this draft, Northwest Missouri State selects David Dupree, fullback.
Ooh. And you know what? It's about the only team that'll actually use them.
That is true.
It's a smart pick too, because you're essentially leaving it up to a coin flip between a 75 or an 83 overall. So they're going for the risk.
Let's you get both.
Yeah, they could go for both.
Yeah, you could do both.
All right, App State's already
You could
sent their
have a tight
pick in, and I got a deeply hated message from Monarch saying that if Northwest Missouri State picked picked his
This
player,
individual.
he would be very upset. But good news, he did not get picked, and he will be heading to the Mountaineers. Pick is in, and pick 47 is heading to App State, and that is Reary Railed. Reary Railed. I don't know. Center heading to, guys, listen. I know they're all me,
Reary.
but this is. There's no way that this is an actual name. This had to have been changed. I do not remember this name. Let me go.
Reary's not even spelt right.
All right, Bucky. We're gonna have to try this again because that was not a name.
Are you
So
serious? He said something that doesn't exist.
yes, he did. Bucky, I'm gonna have to ask you to revert that name. Actually, I'll just do it for myself because I can do it. I can see which one you edited because that will not be a part of this league.
And we've gotten to the point where, like, if you need something, you're looking at
time out. He changed the one that he said he wasn't changing earlier. It's the same cell. All right, bro.
You gotta get rid of.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Punishment.
That's what I
That
thought,
pick
Bucky.
should go to NESU.
That's what I thought. No, I don't think so, Wad. I think it actually goes to ECO. Bucky lied to me. He lied to me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. But he lied to me. All right. But Bucky, that's what you get. I spoiled your pick. With the 48th pick, last pick of round 4. So select John Walker, and not the name that Bucky sent me.
Monarch, you did get Reary.
You did. I'm sorry. Bucky distracted me. Anyway, we're on to round 5, guys. We're making good time. We're actually only an hour in, and we're already in the 5th round, which is actually crazy for us.
Yeah, that's not a name, buddy. I just read what that was. That is not a name that can be said.
That's insane, Brock. But you know what? You're up. So pick 1 of round 5. Pick 49 overall. Space Force is on the clock.
While we wait, can I give some information on the receivers since they've all been drafted?
Yeah.
For those
Sure.
that might be around to listen. Just as a sneak peek, because I know everyone drafts for speed. The speed ranges on the wide receivers that were drafted. The lowest one is only an 88, so pretty solid. There's a 96 and a 95 speed receiver that someone will be getting since they were all drafted.
It's all I'm
Just
going to
throw that out
say.
there.
If the speed meta comes to the RFCL, it's Walt's fault. It's okay. It's okay. Just kidding.
Sorry to not laugh along with you. I was focused. All right, I made you just laugh live on stream by yourself. No, I feel like you
I do it all the time.
did. That's fair.
Sad time.
You're your own best friend.
There will be no spins after this because I'm going to go watch Minnesota and Detroit because that game is
It's such a good game. It's already on.
about to be tied. Justin Jefferson is at the 10-yard line.
JJ's.
That is not a name. That is not a name. I know for a fact that's not a name. Yeah. I knew it. Brock thinking I'm going to fall for this again. Okay. Pick is in. With the 49th pick in the draft, Space Force selects Jeremiah During, cornerback. Not the name that Brock sent me.
Oh, a corner finally went. Holy hell, I thought I was going to pick the only one.
But Space Force picks up a cornerback. And that brings up Valdosta State. I'm going to go yell at Nismo again.
Jeremy, by the way, not Jeremiah.
Oh, my God. Okay, Jeremy. Well, listen, I had to make sure I was spelling it correctly because of what Brock sent me. Yeah, go look at the chat. That's what he sent me.
Scared. That would have been great. That would have been great.
Nismo, I am yelling at you because I feel like it. All right, pick 50, I believe. Yeah, pick 50. Valdosta State selects Michael Baker, offensive tackle. I'm pretty sure that's what T-Man wanted. No, it's not. All right. Pick 51 is by Penn, and I already know who they want. Okay, pick is in. With the 51st pick in the draft, Penn selects Charles Hughes, offensive guard. So the offensive lineman, there are only one guard left. There are centers still available, but there's only 4 of those. So if you're looking for some O-line upgrades, they are diminishing. But that is Penn's draft pick, which brings us to pick 53. Back to Baldwin Wallace. I want to say he sent me in his... He did not. Back up. All right. Pick 53, made by Baldwin Wallace. They select Paul Mole, middle linebacker.
Nice.
He is headed.
Wait, that's 53?
Yes.
It was 52.
52 was... Oh. I have messed up. I really hope that's not who Mart wanted. Guys, we've had a catastrophe. Absolute catastrophe.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Good thing
This is rigged. Scrap the whole process.
Good thing this is round 5 and not round 2. And I did this. So, fun fact. In fact, Baldwin Wallace was not up. It was actually Virginia State. So we'll see if Mr. Mart would like to pick someone.
That's hopefully not Paul Mole.
I've got a feeling that there is a certain position group still available. And I feel like that's where he would go after.
Still a man.
Is he still there? He is still in the VC. I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, it's him? Yeah, never mind. I know who's picking. I know what the pick is.
All right. Pick 52 and not pick 53. Even though we already know pick 53. Virginia State select at pick 52. Nicholas Johnson, fullback. Yep. And that's all the fullbacks off the table, which sucks because Bucky selected this guy and I was gone because I'm an idiot. So let me go send some gifts.
Well, he would have been gone anyways. So it's really not on your fault.
This is what you get for changing names and lying to me. This is karma.
That's fair.
For you, Bucky. Fuck you. All right. Pick 54, Bucky. What would you like?
Slowly dying. Like the stream, boys. Like the stream. If you're in here, we got 2 likes, 15 watching.
Technically, this stream's been live for 2.5 hours because I did the hour countdown before.
Didn't work. Yeah, the hour countdown was insane.
Just curious if anyone actually noticed that I did that.
Yeah, I got the notification that you went live, and I was very confused.
All right. Pick 55. I think pick 54. Pick 54. Central Arkansas selects. That's not it. Mark Dunn, offensive guard. That's the last guard off the table. So there's no more guards or tackles available to be picked. And that brings up Mr. Pars.
Yeah, dude, I don't.
This is Pars' last pick. Pars, this is it. This is all you got to do. You traded Ray round 6. You don't got it. This is it. This is it.
I don't even remember trading round 6.
You traded it this morning.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
All right, we're going to read this official trade. Official trades.
No,
Never mind. When did you trade that? You must have traded it last year. You traded pick 3 or pick 2 this morning.
You know, I'm going to pick the best name. No, I don't need it.
What does that why? What does that mean, T-Man? What do you mean? What did I do to you? Are you in a VC with someone? No, you're not. Wow. You can't say that, T-Man, and then, okay. Anyway, I've got Parsons' pick.
I'm done.
You are done. With the 47th pick, I believe. No, what am I on? 55th pick. I don't know where I got 47 from. UConn selects Dwayne Salzer, outside linebacker. And UConn is done in the draft. That brings us to App State, and I'm fairly certain I have their pick.
Someone please pick the best quarterback name I've ever seen.
I'm fairly certain. Yes.
Ow, I just pulled hair out of my head on accident. I don't know how that even happens.
All right, pick 57. 56, my God, I can't count. App State selects Marshall Rowlands, defensive tackle, heading to the Mountaineers. Which brings up Space Force again. I don't think the Barack has...
You said Marshall Rowland?
Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
What is John streaming?
That's what I just went to go check. I have no idea. It looks like he's streaming.
That's he must be playing the game.
No, he's got a video player up. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? Let's get these picks done. There are like 14 left. Let's get it going. 15.
Waiting for Mr. Barack. Oh, boy. What name is you going to make up for me this time? I'll have to go find.
Yeah, what?
Okay. Okay. I don't know. I got the pick. All right. Pick is in. With the 48th pick. Oh my God, not 48. 57th. What?
Dude, what is your problem?
With the 57th pick, Space Force selects Robert Peterson, cornerback, heading to the Delta Dogs.
Shocked that there are still corners here, to be honest with you.
Yeah. All right, Furman's back up. With the 58th pick, sorry. I'm like one ahead every time. Furman selects Oliver Vogel, a free safety.
Excuse me?
Oliver Vogel. First free safety to be drafted, actually.
Yeah. Still the same odds on any other rounds, right?
Yeah, it is. All right. That brings me back up, and I know exactly where I'm going. Gotta kind of just pick whatever name I want. Okay. Pick is in with the 59th pick. Central Oklahoma selects Richard Rudolph, cornerback, heading to my Bronchos. And Currency's got the final pick of the 5th round, and we are almost there.
Buddy, I know it's only been an hour and 20 minutes, but God, does it feel long.
It does feel very long.
T-Man just hit me with a pickup line. That's the weirdest thing I've ever gotten. T-Man, I am not a pedophile. I am good on that one, pal.
That's kind of crazy. All right.
I didn't expect a pickup line.
With the final pick of the 5th round, Northwest Missouri State selects Anthony Patton, strong safety. So the next to last strong safety off the board. One left as we go to round 6, which is going to be begun by Fidosa State. So let me go yell at Nismo again.
Is Mario? I mean, I get why the strong safeties went before the free safeties. I mean, at the end of the day, you get like a better overall distance because you get two higher rated strong safeties than you do free safeties. Sorry, I can't speak.
Neither can I. All right, wait. No one selected Rajiv from EA yet. What position is he?
Mark County Pass. I'm really upset about it.
Someone's got to select Rajiv from EA. Come on.
Someone trade me a pick. I'll pick him. I don't even know what he is.
He's a running back.
I don't want him.
What?
I'll trade out Bucky McBuckster for him if no one picks him.
Yeah, screw you, Bucky. We don't want your player. We want Rajiv from EA. All right. Pick is in. First pick of the 6th round. Valdosta State selects Jeffrey Alexis, a outside linebacker. First pick of round 6. Which brings up all right, Penn has put their pick in with the 61st pick in the draft. Penn selects Charles Saunders, another outside linebacker. He is heading to Penn. Pick 60. That was pick 62. Excuse me. What's up, Pars?
John is just in there streaming old episodes of the Coach's Corner.
Oh, that's good. All right, Monarch, I believe, sent me his. He did. It is. All right.
Bucky, to answer your question, if you're still in here, I saw it up there. Yes, we are going to spend live. No, we don't know when it is. Yes, it'll probably be this week. Yes, Caleb will put hours upon his life into this. And yes, it will be done there.
All right, App State's pick at pick 63 is Chill Guy, a running back, not Rajiv from EA. He is still out there, just so you guys know. If you're wanting to pick a running back, he is still there. That brings up Baldwin Wallace. I think they've sent me their pick.
That's 64?
He did. Pick 64 is in. All right, Baldwin Wallace selects at pick 64 Stephen Strobel, cornerback. So we have 4 corners left. So if you're wanting a corner, they are still out there.
Why did I pick one in the first round?
Pick 65 is now up, and that is Northwest Missouri State. No one. Guys, pick corners. Trust me, pick corners.
That's insane. How dare you get like that?
Well, you know, he left me, so. Pick 65 is in, and with the 65th pick, Northwest Missouri State selects Raul Wyatt, a strong safety.
Smart.
Last strong safety off the board. Pick 66 is Space Force, and Pars' favorite player is coming off the board here.
God. It's such a good name.
With the 66th pick in the draft, Space Force selects Can Pass, quarterback, heading to Space Force.
It's a question, Gerald. It's can he pass?
Can pass? Can he pass?
Yes, there you go. Can he pass?
Can he pass? All right, Virginia State is back up, and I'm not going to skip their pick this time.
Is that a promise? Can we skip it and come back just to see what happens?
All right, guys. All I'm going to say is there are 2 running back names that are elite and are still available. And I would not be picking them. I don't need a running back. What do I need? That's like a real question. What do I need?
I would like to change Bucky McBuckster to alcoholic. I made a mistake.
All right, pick 67 is in, and with the 67th pick, Virginia State selects George Sims, a center, heading to the Trojans. That brings up Valdosta State, and I'm pretty sure correct. All right, pick 68 is in. With the 68th pick, Valdosta State selects Thomas Ulrich, another center, off the board. And there are only 2 linemen remaining on the offensive side for the entire draft, which is only like 3 picks. And that brings us to pick 69.
Who was it? Who was 68?
That was Valdosta State.
No.
Oh.
What was the pick?
Thomas Ulrich. Central Arkansas is back up.
Nobody's making any trades.
With the 69th pick, Central Arkansas selects ChatGPT halfback. He is
so alcoholic and receiver still there.
That is true. Oh, it's me. I'm back up. Let's go.
Nadir's got to be like a junior at this point. Are you sure you don't need a running
But
back?
I've got a freshman. We're good. I actually don't. I don't. But you know what I do need is this position. Oh.
Jay White.
Well, now there's my pick, guys. Middle linebacker. Hold on one second. There we go. Pick 17. Jay White, middle. That is not a name, Juan. That is not a name. I will not say that on stream. Did you change a name to that? I didn't realize. Yeah, you did. You did. Oh my gosh. Juan, speak of your crimes. Juan not speaking of his crimes.
I just went and looked. That's amazing.
Should leave it.
Should leave it.
No, because listen, I'm not saying that on stream. Juan, if you would like to announce
You
your
can
draft
say
pick,
Caleb. You can say Caleb. It's the last name.
Mason.
I have to type it. I'm not typing that on the stream either. No. All right. They're finally back up. It's been since the second round. Northeastern State is back up. Their pick is in with the 71st pick. Northeastern State selects Michael Neely, cornerback. Not the other name that was there. Michael Neely has been selected. Finally, Mr. Irrelevant is here. And that pick is already in.
Yeah, I asked for it. You want to trade it? I'll hit that good.
The last pick of the draft, Season 7. Thank God it's over. Pick is in, and with the 72nd pick, Mr. Irrelevant of the Season 7 draft is Michael Pearson, a center. And that is the last pick. 72 draft picks, 28 go undrafted. Bucky, I swear to God, if you change one other name, you're losing editing rights.
You changed another one?
He's got it, however, I don't know if he's copying and pasting, but last time I said this and he said I wasn't doing anything, it changed. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. That is all of our draft picks. Appreciate everyone watching. Thank you, Pars, for filling in everything on the draft pick side. So we basically
We've gotten better at this than 3 times.
2 forms of double checking to make sure. I will eventually do the wheel spins. It'll be sometime this week. Maybe after a game, maybe before a game, because I'm still out of school, so I don't have to do anything for a while. But yeah, that is going to do it for Season 7 draft. There are plenty of RFCL games this week. There's actually a big one tomorrow night featuring UConn and Coach Pars. For the right to go to the division championship, UConn and Virginia State's. That's the 7 o'clock game. And then the 8:30 is Baldwin Wallace Penn fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. I will send out the rankings in a little bit. Have to do some fantasy touches on the computer poll for this week. But there are games 4 days this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I did not say that. Pars did. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you all later.